Okay, hey everybody, this is Grace, and I have to talk about this. Have you ever, something that is, to me, it's one of those, what nerve? A couple of days ago, I went to see a doctor, okay, and I went to my doctor's office, but my doctor didn't have any appointments, and it was one of those, I need to see them to find out what I should do. It had involved, my feet were turning red, and I've had trouble with lotions before, and I was worried that the lotion I had put on it was causing problems. It was so bad. Both of them. And my dad lost his leg, one of his legs, to diabetes from the knee down when I was in junior high. We had a junior high back then. And I didn't want to be when repeating this, I still don't. So I went to, I called, and they said, well, the nurse, I said, does she have nurse practitioners? My doctor, this doctor, and they said, oh yeah, but they're booked up. And I said, oh wow. So there's nobody that I can see. And they said, well, the woman said, there's one doctor, and she has an appointment for tomorrow. And so I did, scheduled that one. Looked online. I'm learning to look online, and I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't believe those. Anybody can write those. Anybody can write the good ones too. You do know that, right? I trust the bad ones overall because I've gone to doctors and read those, then read those the other way around, both ways, and if they fit the bad ones. Oh yeah, oh, this doctor, well, this one, they only had one. And it wasn't rated negatively. It just said she seems like she'll be a good doctor once she stops being so overwhelmed. She's a new doctor. Okay. It's kind of obvious she's a new doctor. For me, she looked at it, my both feet, this on both feet. They're real red, and I was afraid that it might be infected or something. There's nothing really to be infected, but it's weird how they look. And she just kind of looked at him. She looked so confused. She said, I really don't know what to think about this. And she said, maybe I'll send you to a dermatologist. And I said, yeah, and a podiatrist. I need referrals to both of them. Now, I was certain what I need because I had a podiatrist. And when I went the last time to schedule an appointment, that would have been my third time, I think. There was a woman, they transferred me to her, but they didn't tell me why. And I asked, I was scheduling the appointment or something. I don't think it was to schedule it, but I said, what's the street address? And apparently street address saying that triggered her, and she started talking over me and practically yelling. She said, you don't know where this street is? I had never said I don't know where that street is. Of course I know where that is. It's not even a street. It's a toll road. A toll highway, really. And I've been on it many, many, many times. She was just rude, and I said, you just lost the doctor a patient. And I hung up, and I'm not going back, period. I'm not here for people to take their frustrations out and be triggered. There's one. That's one. So this doctor, she gives me 2 referrals. They're both in the building. One of them says they don't take my insurance. And, the woman said it like with a smirk. It was 2 of them, and I said, oh, that's weird. I said, I have really good insurance. It pays almost 100%. They just both kind of looked at me. There's actually a thing called insurance fraud. Insurance discrimination, by the way. I didn't know that. I found that out by the people who would know, the federal government. Now, I can't say that the woman knew what she was talking about and how it would work different in Texas. It's always something that works different in Texas, in my opinion. I'm Texan. But, yeah. But anyway. So I went to the other one. The other one takes insurance. One was a podiatrist. And I got the hiccups. I've been having the hiccups lately. One was a podiatrist and one was a dermatologist. And the dermatologist took my insurance. Or, yeah. I got that right? Okay. But so then I went back to the, there was on the same building, like right across the hall, the first one. I went back to the front desk and I told the woman, she said, what you need to do is call your insurance, find out who takes your insurance in this area, and then give the doctor, come back, call us and give the doctor the name of that person, that doctor, that they can refer me to. Okay. I've had that happen before. And so I went to the next one, which was just downstairs from it, and scheduled that one. Okay, so, but this doctor, now, like I said, new to it, and at one point I said, I can't use those, so I think that it's more these lotions and stuff, anything that's topical, because they'll turn my skin like, those, what do they call the things that people use to wash their hands with the alcohol in it? I can't use them. Sanitizers, I can't use them. I mean, it breaks my palms out. Just a little bit of the stuff, even a teeny tiny bit, will dry my skin out, and my palms will look so bad, and my hands. And I told her that, and then as we were talking, she goes, you said your hands are dry? She was not actively listening. I said my hands will dry out. She was, I don't like that whenever people who should be paying attention are drifting off. Adam's bad about that. Adam's bad about drifting off, and I've always been curious. I can't diagnose him, of course. He's older than I, but I've known him for almost 45 years, and when he does it, I always think, ADHD much? I remember going to a seminar, about stuff like that, and plus I was a career student, and my degrees are in psychology and sociology, so, but yeah, that's what I think, and maybe it's not that she's overwhelmed, it's that she's having a hard time focusing on what the person is saying and not drifting off into her own thoughts and her own world. What she's thinking of that at that time. Here comes Adam. Speaking of, he come out and told me loco. Yeah, that month that I had month and a half I had pneumonia. I didn't come outside, and sit in my car and make videos. But he just woke up. He's been napping for hours. We were supposed to go somewhere else, but anyway, to get back to this, so this woman, this doctor, she's young, seems to be new to practice. She had an opening. That's always not a good sign to me, because that means that they're new, and or they don't have many patients, because patients don't like them. The people who do go to them. It's a red flag to me. That's just me, the way I've experienced it. I'll be 63 years old next week. I've seen a lot of doctors. Done this a lot of times. But anyway, what's he called? Let me see. He was smoking a cigarette, and I rolled down my window because he went and got the mail out of the mailbox. And that smoke got in my car. Yeah. But anyway, do my air conditioner a little higher, clean out. I got great filters. Anyway, where was I? she wasn't actively listening, and I mean, I kind of, I was just glad to get the referrals. And somebody told me in Texas, you don't need the referrals. But then again, you do. So I trusted that one time, and they said, no, you got to have a referral for whatever it was at the time. So anyway, I'm going to have referrals from now on. And So I, called the place and all that. Well, at some point after, that was a couple days ago, that same day, like a few hours, maybe not even a few hours, I got this text. I think Adam and I went to this place next door. It was a Walmart neighborhood marketplace. And, it was pouring down rain. I had to drive there in the pouring down rain. I don't drive in the rain. I'm a very, very experienced driver. We used to take a lot of road trips. I'm talking big time road trips, like from way up northern California to South Florida Keys, so many points in between. Yeah, we used to do that for like 20 years, or me more than he did. But, Adam. Anyway, so I usually don't drive in the rain. There's a bunch of crazy people out there think that you still should go down the road speeding. Not the speed limit. There are too many people who think that the speed limit is just a suggestion. It's the law. Okay? Like that, like I saw online one time, and this is Texas, and it said, it is, and then it had a period, punctuation mark, period, and it said, it is, period, the law, period. I said, I could see this guy I could just imagine what kind of guy it was that would say that. It is the law. I'm Texan, so hey. Yeah, but it is, okay? It's not a suggestion, it's the law. But no, they go drive, and they did. Man, it was like crazy people were on the road. And, so then we went there. Adam dropped me off and went and put gas in my SUV. And I haven't been driving it, and I haven't for a month and a half. And it was on, like I don't go below a quarter of a tank ever. And so he, it was right there. It was 377, which is the lowest around here. And anyway, so after Memorial Day, you know what I'm saying? And I got that, I think it was right then I got that text. I might have even been in the store. And it was annoying to me to rate her. It was all set up, this rating system and everything. So to, RATE out of 5 stars, 5 being the highest. And I was, whatever it was, I was busy. So I just clicked on the 5 stars, and we had a little comment box, but I didn't leave any comment, and moved on with what I was doing, what was more important at the time. Didn't even think about it. I mean, I could have given her much less because she wasn't listening, and plus she didn't do anything. All that I had to go through to see her and get there and all that. I had almost rescheduled the appointment because of the storm. I mean, it was storming bad. And it carried on for hours. And there was that pooling, the puddling on the roads and everything. And, So anyway, I gave her a rating. And then later on, I think maybe when I got home, I had or it seemed like right away, I had a comment come through. I can see it on my phone, it comes through. So I clicked on it, and it was about the rating. I could tell before I clicked on it. And I thought, why am I getting a comment? For giving a 5-star, which is the highest rating. Why am I getting a comment? Who's it from? I've never heard of anybody I've seen people comment on, but usually not on reviews of doctors and stuff. Nobody comments on somebody else's comment, except for the people who work there. And instead, it was just a really short, direct, to the point line, a comment. I don't think any punctuation or any capitalization. It was like it was quickly done, like somebody's texting somebody. And people who don't know that there are such things as capitalizing and punctuation. I've seen this too many times with people who are supposed to be, and I've had people who work for the insurance companies talk bad about this, that the people working for these doctors, when they text, are not very professional. And they're not, it's like they think they're talking to their friend. And just one of them put a whole big long paragraph, no punctuation, no capitalization, nothing. There was no end to any sentence. It just went on and on and on and on and on. That's not exactly a run-on sentence, but you know what I'm saying. It just went on and on. There was no punctuation. Actually, she accidentally hit the period in the middle of a sentence, the last one. Oh my God. My goodness. She didn't correct it, but... And like I said, there's somebody from their corporate office that I read your comments to you, and she was amazed that they were doing stuff like that. But anyway, this comment it was from the doctor, it said. And what she wrote, instead of saying thank you for 5-star rating, no. What she said was, it was very direct and to the point. I don't know exact wording, but it was basically, you gave a rating but not any comment. What was she wanting? Me to glorify her? I know it's a big, some people would say that's a big jump, but no. A 5-star, the biggest one you can give, rating should suffice. Some people won't even leave ratings. Don't we all know this? I mean, anybody who's done anything where there is a rating, lots of people don't do them. They don't take time out of their lives to stop and go through that whole process and this and that. And sometimes they don't, like, I did a video about, you know, we order sometimes groceries to be delivered. And lately it's been Walmart. And for the rating of the Walmart, I think Sparks driver, I don't know, I've never done those. But it doesn't come until, like, I go back in to order the next week groceries, or, you know, only buy a few things, like the things that, because of my health, you know, with having this shortness of breath stuff, you know, the pneumonia, and before that, shortness of breath, I order things, you know, like I don't have to go over all around the whole store, you know, just to get this little, you know, little this or little that is not around the bulk of what I need. You know, there's super centers. Like if I need, I don't know, what would be an example? You know, something that's on the other side of the store. And Adam's been doing most of the groceries while I had the pneumonia, because I could only walk about 10 feet. And I have to stop and catch my breath, and then I could have walked 10 to 15 more feet, I'm guessing. It took me a long time. You know, I'd either have to sit down or lean on something. And I was using an inhaler, rescue inhaler. So, yeah. But now I'm much better. Anyway, but just the nerve of this, isn't it? The thought that comes to my mind was entitled much. I gave you a 5-star rating, which is the best. That's not good enough for you. I should have left you a comment that's glorifying you, saying how wonderful you are, right? I can go back in there and take my I just checked to see, because I wanted to see exactly, you know, before I started this video, exactly what the comment said. But the comment's gone. And even the text that they sent it from there, it still says to rate the visit. There was that one still there, you know, and I clicked on it, and I could still change it to 0, and or to 1. There's no 0, but to put it to 1 and then write a comment. I didn't appreciate being told to leave a comment. But I'm not that type of person. I mean, I gave her a 5 and she was not listening. You know, no good deed goes unpunished. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that they do sometimes, but you know, I don't like those expressions that put it all. You know, no good deed goes unpunished. You know, everything. You know, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. You know, that's a bad thing. I don't like expressions like that. So, Anyway, you need to know all of that I just did. And I went on and on and on. And guess what? I'm going to always do that because this is who I am. I've actually had the AI on YouTube tell me to say within the first minute all of what I'm going to talk about in the video from the start, the whole story within the first line. I don't know of any, I can't stand, like, shows that will show you what happened at the end, like mysteries. They show you who done it and all this stuff, and then they're going to show the whole rest of it. I like that show. Well, I'm not going to name the name, but there's one of them I really like the show, the people, the actors, but I can't stand that at the beginning of it starts by them telling you who done it. The whole who done it. No, that ruins it. But this is what I was told by the AI more than once. Tell the whole story at the very beginning, get it done and over with, and then if the person wants to listen to more detail, they can do that. I was a career student. That is exactly not how to do it. Exactly not how to do it. People need the details. You tell people some things like, no good deed goes unpunished. You just put the whole thing right there. They're going to believe that. That's how they're going to believe. They heard that. Oh, now they know everything there is to know about doing any good deed. You see what I'm saying? So, wrapping it up. Talk to you on another video.